Now, to talk a little bit more about this situation, we're joined now by Dr. Dan Kalla, who is you saw, of course, in Randine's story last night. Dr. Kalla, thanks for joining us.
A pleasure to be here.
We showed, obviously, a little bit of what is happening inside of St. Paul's. You work there on a daily basis. Just give our viewers a little synopsis of how difficult it is to do your job with the conditions you have right now.
Well, yeah, it certainly makes it tougher. You know, it's a facility that's been renovated several times over the last 100 years, and you know they've done the best they can, but it's a little bit of a maze, even our emergency department, and it impacts not only our efficiency but our flow of patients. And you know, A, it's just not big enough for the number of patients we see, but B, it's just not designed in a way that anybody would design it in the 21st century.
Now, obviously, there's plans ahead to move St. Paul's, as we mentioned before. Your thoughts on having a new hospital, yet in a different location?
Yeah, I mean, I know there's some concerns about the location, although it's not a huge move. But I see this as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to build a hospital from scratch, from the ground up, to suit all our needs for the great care and great functions we provide at St. Paul's. And you know, to have not to renovate in sight, but to be able to start and do it exactly how we need it and what will best serve our patients, I think is a huge opportunity for us.
You know, some people look at Children's Hospital, who are building a new hospital as well on the same site that they're on right now. They have a more space available, I would think, than St. Paul's does. So the ability to be in a new location and to make it bigger, I think would be a bonus.
Oh, I mean, I can't agree. I think the site is 3 times what the current St. Paul's site is. And there's no way, with all the important care we give and the vital function we do for downtown Vancouver, there's no way we could stop while we were building. It would be a huge ordeal to try to build it where it is now, up to any kind of 21st century standard.
To appease the people that use that hospital a lot, you mentioned in downtown Vancouver, some sort of a facility there, you know, whether it's some sort of a clinic or something like that, is that something that you think would be a good idea to make sure that there is something left in that area that has the legacy of St. Paul's?
Yeah, for sure, and I think there are general plans for that. I mean, it can't be full functional acute care hospital like there is now, but certainly some kind of outreach clinic, you know. And the point about the distance is that, you know, sure, it'll be farther from the West End, but for the residents, especially for the frail elderly, once they get to the facility, it'll be so much more accessible inside, and there'll be so much more adjacencies of service that it really might make up for that extra commute, as it were.
And lastly, when is the big question? You know, when are shovels going to be in the ground? And I mean, obviously it takes some years to build a hospital. So can you sustain it over the 5 to 8 years it may take?
Yeah. Well, the answer to when is for people with higher pay scale than me to answer. But in the meantime, it's vitally important we maintain. I mean, we're a big tertiary hospital. We serve a huge function to the city, and we're vital, and we have to keep up to date and keep up to standards in the meantime, because we can't just shut down while we're waiting for the new facilities. We continue to have to grow where we are too.
And lastly, real quick, how concerned are you about, you know, we talked about earthquakes and things like that, and we've seen what happened during the Stanley Cup riots and the pressure that was put on St. Paul's about a major incident happening and the hospital not being able to handle it?
I'm concerned, but I think, you know, we've got as many contingencies in place as we can, and hopefully, you know, hopefully there won't be an earthquake ever, but certainly in the next 8 years while we're building the new one.
All right, Dr. Dan Kalla, thank you so much. Good to talk to you again.